Ahead. 97. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مُوسَى. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مُوسَى بِآيَاتِنَا وَسُلْطَانٍ مُبِينٍ. My dear respected elders and brothers, if we remember, we are in Surah Hud, and we're in that part of Surah Hud where six stories of the Anbiya have been given to show that the people of Iman are victorious, and those who disbelieved, even though they had the money and the power on their side, and their amounts were more, they had more people than the believers, but still at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved those who were believers and destroyed the disbelievers because of their disbelief and because of the different sins that they did. We did the story of Hud, story of Salih, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Lut alayhi salam. We just finished last week the story of Shu'aib, where his people were the Ahli Madian, where they were cheating other people and they did not take heed to the warnings of Shu'aib alayhi salam. So therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He destroyed them with three different punishments. First of all, Yawmul Dhillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought a cloud, a dark cloud, which looked like a cloud which was going to rain upon them, rain which was much needed because they were in a drought. But then a loud sound, sayha, which Allah Ta'ala mentions here, a shriek from the angel Jibreel was given, or some ulama may say that sayha here is a sound that came from the cloud, like a thunderbolt sound that came from the cloud. And also after that rajfa, an earthquake came under their feet. So Allah Ta'ala, three different ways He destroyed them: through this fire cloud, through a loud sound which made them have heart attacks, and also through rajfa, an earthquake under their feet. فَأَصْبَحُوا فِي دِيَارِهِمْ جَاثِمِينَ. So then in the morning time, they were in their houses fallen. They were jathimin, I've explained to you before, when a person is cuddled up or curdled up, down, and his knees are against his face, and he's crouching down, almost like when we're in sajda. This is the way they died, which a person dies in the state where he's trying to protect himself. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the destruction was so severe, كَأَلَّمْ يَغْنَوْ فِيهَا. It is as if they never lived there before. A person who came the next day would think that the place was never inhabited, it never had anybody living in there. Going on, the last qissa, the last of the six stories of the Anbiya which I mentioned here, is a story of Musa alayhi salam. And all of these stories, with their purpose, which I just explained now, another purpose was tasalli an Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to have the consolement on Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Because Nabi similarly was going through the same type of difficulties that these Anbiya went through. He was bringing before them the very clear proofs that were undeniable, but yet they were denying them. And with that also they were making mockery, yastahzi'un, they were mocking and joking about the da'wat of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, this propagation, they were making fun of it. So Rasulullah was going through that. He wasn't at the end point of that. So in order to now console Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allah Ta'ala sends these stories to show him that others before you have gone through this, and this is their result. And it will also be your result. Inna wa'adallahi haqq. Verily the promise of Allah Ta'ala is true, and inshallah you become victorious. Last, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the story of Musa alayhi salam, which is most similar to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Being that Musa alayhi salam was driven out of his hometown, the same way that Rasulullah has been driven out of his hometown as well. and his people, his own relatives went against him, the same way Rasulullah's own relatives went against him as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مُوسَى بِآيَاتٍ, and verily we sent Musa alayhi salam with our signs, وَسُلْطَانٍ مُبِينٍ, and a proof which was very clear. So Musa ayat, there were no signs given more than to Musa alayhi salam, because Fir'aun was given so many chances. Of course, the different, in another surah we'll read it, ayatul mufassalat, the locusts and the bugs that were sent. And even now today, we have heard that these locusts have come back, and they're in Israel. Millions of locusts have attacked Israel, where they're having big problems there. So it happened at the time of Fir'aun also, and even the reporters are saying this, in the whole history from Misr, these locusts have only come at the time of Fir'aun, and now also. Allah Ta'ala protect us. So many signs were given to Musa alayhi salam, and of course the most clearest and the most popular of them was Asa Musa, the staff of Musa, which turned into a serpent, a very fierce serpent, and also Yadul Bayda, the white glowing hand of Musa alayhi salam, which he would put in his pocket, and when he would take it out, it would be glowing, and glowing in such a way, in a white pale way, that it didn't look like his hand had something wrong with it, but it would shine, and then when you put it back in, and the hand would come back to regular. So these were the signs. So Allah Ta'ala calls it Sultan and Mubin. These were undeniable proofs. Mubin means clear proofs. Sultan means dalil, a proof. The reason why in Arabic language is called Sultan is also the name of a king. Also something which is strength. Strength is also called Sultan. And the actual word Sultan actually is the sparkle that comes on olive oil. If you put olive oil, good olive oil, not the one we buy in the stores and stuff, real good olive oil, we buy all the processed stuff, but the real good olive oil, if you put it in the sun, like the Arab used to have, real fresh olive oil, if you put it in the sun, it glows. It glows, and there's a sparkle that comes out of it. So the sparkle that comes out of it, this is called Sultan. And the reason why that dalil, proof, is called Sultan is because the same way that glow in the oil is clear, the same way proofs should be clear as well. So that's why Allah Ta'ala calls it Sultan. So Musa alayhi salam came with many proofs to prove his nubuwwat, to prove his prophethood, and to prove that he was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ وَمَلَئِهِ فَاتَّبَعُوا أَمْرَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَمَا أَمْرُ فِرْعَوْنَ بِرَشِيدٍ. Allah Ta'ala mentions إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ. Who was he sent to? He was sent to Fir'aun. He was sent to the king of Misr at that time, who was Fir'aun, one of the greatest oppressors in the history of the world. وَمَلَئِهِ, and also his group, his courtiers, his wazirs, his governors, his comrades, whatever you want to call them. He had a large group with him who were benefiting from the power of Fir'aun, and also they used to follow Fir'aun to the T. Anything Fir'aun said, they would do it. And Allah Ta'ala mentions in another ayat, فَاسْتَخَفَّ قَوْمَهُ فَأَطَاعُوا. Fir'aun unka qawm ko biwakuf banaya. Fir'aun, he made his people stupid. Meaning, what were the claims that he made? أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. I am the highest of all lords. Subhanallah. How can a person believe that Fir'aun can be the highest of all lords when he himself is going to the bathroom? He himself is, one time on Time magazine, they had the Dalai Lama. You know the Dalai Lama? The Chinese guy that says he's... And they said, it written on the bottom of Time magazine, God. God. And I was looking at it, I said, SubhanAllah, God wears glasses. The guy had big glasses on. Very thick, big glasses. So this is impossible. Ana rabbukum. How could you be the highest of all lords? They can fastakhaffa qawmahu. Fir'aun, he made his people stupid. But how can a person become so stupid and believe in that? Allah Ta'ala gives the reason. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَوْمًا فَاسِقِينَ. When a person gets involved in fisq, in sin, he becomes fasiq. He openly sins in front of others, so Allah Ta'ala takes away his aql and his logic. where now the sin can lead such a person to such a state where he believes the man in front of him is the highest of all lords, only because that man has the virtue of money and power. May Allah Ta'ala protect us from fisk and fujur, sinning openly. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. So Allah Ta'ala mentions here that this Musa alayhi salam, this prophet of Allah Ta'ala, Musa, he was sent to Fir'aun and also sent to his people. Meaning the group of people, not only Fir'aun. Sent to the people of Fir'aun who were following Fir'aun and carrying out all that disruption, and were many times the reason why Fir'aun was able to keep up his strength. If they didn't follow him and they moved away and they rebelled against him, it's quite possible that Fir'aun would have been, disgraced in his own kingdom, as we see today with the Arab uproars. Those same presidents who, for so many years, they were leading the people and no one could say anything. It started from the inside. Their governor, once their vice president, once he made the elan and the announcement, and he says that, listen, I don't support him anymore, then usually that guy, you took the carpet right under his feet, he's gone. So these people were just as equal as Fir'aun. فَاتَّبَعُوا أَمْرَ فِرْعَوْنَ, and they obeyed the order of Fir'aun, and that was to go after Musa alayhi salam and to kill him and the Bani Israel. وَمَا أَمْرُ فِرْعَوْنَ بِرَشِيدٍ, and the order of Fir'aun was not correct. Rashid here means sawab. Sahih nahi tha, it was not proper, it was not correct. He had a wrong view on how to deal with Musa alayhi salam. So therefore, skipping to the natija and to the result, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then drowned. فَأَغْرَقَهُمُ اللَّهُ, Allah ta'ala drowned all of them. And we all know the story, we've done it also in parts of the Tafseer. Allah Ta'ala mentions about their result later on, what's going to happen to them on the day of Qiyamah. يَقُدُمُ قَوْمَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَأَوْرَدَهُمُ النَّارِ وَبِئْسَ الْوِرْدُ الْمَوْرُودِ. Allah Ta'ala mentions, يَقُدُمُ قَوْمَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, he will precede his people. Fir'aun will stand in front, and the same way he led them in the world, and they followed his wrong views about Musa alayhi salam, the same way on the day of Qiyamah, Allah Ta'ala will make Fir'aun stand in front of them, and all of them enter into the fire of Jahannam together. You followed him in dunya, now follow him to the fire. يَقُدُمُ قَوْمَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, he will lead his people on the day of Qiyamah into the fire. فَأَوْرَدَهُمُ النَّارِ, and the fire will be brought upon them. They will burn in the fires of Jahannam. وَبِئْسَ الْوِرْدُ الْمَوْرُودِ. Allah Ta'ala, very scary the way Allah Ta'ala says it, that's so wretched, so bad. Allah Ta'ala doesn't explain in tafsir, doesn't give us a whole explanation that what is going to go on there, but like to say, if a person sees some type of car accident, and you tell the person that, explain to me how bad the car, they say, no, it was so bad. It was so bad. I don't want to even explain it. In the same way, Allah Ta'ala saying, the abode of these people and where they're going to go, it's so bad, I don't even want to explain it. Bi'sal wirdul mawrud, so wretched is the place that they shall go. It's so bad. I'm not even going to explain it to you. It's so terrible where they're going to go. Only they will know. And of course Allah Ta'ala and the malaika who are witnessing it and those who are involved in it, they will only know how bad it is. Al-wird means al-makan, the place where they will go. It will be so wretched and so terrible. Allah Ta'ala then mentions, وَأُتْبِعُوا فِي هَذِهِ لَعْنَةً وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ بِئْسَ الرِّفْدُ الْمَرْفُودُ. Allah Ta'ala says, وَأُتْبِعُوا فِي هَذِهِ لَعْنَةً, and they will be followed in this world with a curse. فِي هَذِهِ, يعني فِي هَذِهِ الدُّنْيا. In this world, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is cursing them as well. This is one of the few ayats which the ulama of aqaid, the ulama of belief, they cite this ayat as a proof for adab al-qabr, the punishment of the grave. The punishment of the grave, it comes in so many ahadith that we can say that these are mutawatir ahadith, meaning so many ahadith, And so many Sahaba have related the fact of a person being punished in his grave. That is become a part of our aqeedah. It's our belief. So in hadith, it's very clear. In Quran, it's given isharatan. It's given by indicating. Like for example here, وَأُتْبِعُوا فِي هَذِهِ. It's not clearly said. But of course, هَذِهِ dunya, what else would it mean? In this dunya, there will be a la'na and there will be a punishment which will follow them. In regards to hadith, Rasulullah is mentioned in many different hadith. The hadith of Tirmidhi, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned that al-qabru rawdatun min riyadil jannah. The qabr, it is either a garden from the gardens of Jannah, or hafratun min hufarin nar, or it is a pit from the pits of Jahannam. Meaning a person in the qabr, when he goes in the grave, either it will be a garden, a beautiful garden, which in other hadith it is mentioned that a person will even have a window which is opened up where he will be able to see his abode and see the Jannah. And it will open up all the way till he can see. It will be like a big, large, gigantic room, and in there he'll rest like he rests at night. Or it could be such that it is so tight and such a difficult place that it will close on the person to such an extent that Rasulullah even, and he did tashbik. Tashbik means when you put your fingers together, he even said that the ribs of a person will come together like this. So tight it will become. The reality of the qabr. Rasulullah has mentioned in the hadith of Muslim that if it wasn't for my fear of you people stopping burying your people, I would have asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to let you hear the punishment of the grave. I would have asked Allah ta'ala to let you hear the torment and the difficulty that people are going on in there. But if you heard the torment, then you would say, forget it. When my father and mother pass away, I'm not putting them down there. They're staying here. Let them rot up here, I don't care. But they're not going down there. Because we heard what's going on down there. Another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah saw a lot. The hadith of Tirmidhi where Rasulullah mentioned that there is no worse horrifying scene I have seen than the adhab of qabr. It is mentioned, of course, we've heard this many times also, and is mentioned, of course, amongst the sifat and qualities of Uthman radiallahu anhu, that he would be very touched when he would go by the qabr. Whenever he went by the grave, so his beard would become maballa, his beard would become wet with all the tears that he had, and they would ask him that, oh Uthman, when Jahannam is mentioned and Jannat is mentioned, or the Jahannam, the punishment of Al-Akhir is mentioned, we don't see you cry like we see you cry for the adhab of qabr. So Uthman radiallahu anhu mentioned to them and told them that this is where it all starts. If you're getting punished in the qabr, so you better know that on a day of judgment you're going to get punished also. And if you're good in the qabr and everything's fine, then that means on a day of judgment you're going to be fine as well. So this is all leading to your end result. In another ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about Fir'aun, النار يعرضون عليها غدوا عشيا ويوم يقوم الساعة. Allah Ta'ala ويوم تقوم الساعة. Allah Ta'ala mentions that the fire is being placed on them, meaning Fir'aun and his people, غدوا وعشيا, every morning and every night. Meaning as they are in the qabr and dying, they're in what we call the barzakh, the middle section, the section between dunya and akhirah, they are there. So Allah Ta'ala mentions every day they are being put in the fire. Meaning there's fire put in their qabr, in their grave. وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةُ. Then Allah Ta'ala separating another punishment that will be given, which shows that this is the adhab of qabr. So another punishment given, وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةُ. It'll be on that day when the hour is erected, they'll get another punishment also. Another punishment. Two questions arise. Those people who have rejected the qabr, they have rejected, there are some firaq, there are some groups who claim to be Muslim back in the days, and now they're not around anymore. But the discussion comes, and people logically also bring this forward, that adhab al-qabr, is it really happening? Tomorrow if we opened up, for example, someone's grave who we feel is being punished, and we opened up, let's say Fir'aun is famous that what? That body is his, right? There's no fire there. Where's the fire? Snakes and scorpions, we've heard. You open up someone's grave, there's no snakes, there's no scorpions there, there's no hammer hitting them on the head, there's no tightness, the ribs look fine, everything's okay. This adhab al-qabr is some type of imaginary thing. So this is their complaint, this is their shikayat, this is their question that they have, that we don't see this going on, this adhab of qabr. If we open up the qabr, nothing's there, the person's regular, he's done. So we learn from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam the beautiful du'as that Nabi Sam has mentioned before sleep. And from that we can say, and we can bring dalil from that, the understanding of what death is. Right? So Rasulullah used to say before sleeping, that what's the dua before sleeping? Alhamdulillahi alladhi, Bismillahi, Allahumma, Bismillah is one of those things we have to go. I said, bring me a pillow, then I'll remember it. Bring me a pillow, let me lay down, then I'll remember the dua. Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. We're going to sleep. We're not dying. But yet Rasulullah, Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. Meaning, what is he saying? And of course, when we wake up, Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana. Oh Allah, we thank Allah Ta'ala who gave us life after we died. So here we can say that Rasulullah is making tashbih. He's striking the similarity between sleeping and death. That's why in the Arabic language they say, An-nawmu ukhtul maut. The sleep, it is actually the sister of death. The sleep, it is the sister of death. So those people who think it to be illogical, the adhab of qabr, we will say, listen, when you see somebody sleeping at night, and that person is involved in a dream, and in that dream, he's flying to China, right? And he's buying, the candy that he loves. He's getting 10,000 pounds of that candy. Or weird dreams. I'm just talking weird. We all have weird dreams. I'm not the only guy who has weird dreams, right? Everybody's looking at me like, we all dream about Rasulullah every night. You're the only one that has crazy dreams. We all have weird dreams. Some weird dream. The person's driving a car. Person's getting stabbed in his dream. Na'udhu billah. But when you go in the room and see him sleeping, does it look like he's getting stabbed? No. Does it look like he's driving? No. Is he in China? No. There's no. Maybe his clothes eyes look a little Chinese, but not China. No. He's what? He's just regular. He's laying down and he's sleeping. And there's no effects that he's going through anything. Except maybe his eyes moving and some groan once in a while. But most of the time people are going through deep dreams, nothing. So in the same way, that person, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, يَتَوَفَّى الْأَنفُسِ حِينَ مَوْتِهَا. Allah ta'ala actually, when we sleep, Allah ta'ala takes our ruh out of our body. Right? And sometimes Allah ta'ala holds it and doesn't bring it back, and those are those people who die in their sleep. And usually Allah ta'ala releases the ruh and it comes back to our body. يَتَوَفَّى الْأَنفُسِ. So the sleeping, we can see that the sleeping is a lot like death. The same way that person his ruh is going through different things, and he's in his dream he's going through different experiences, but you can't see it outwardly. In the same way, the body is dead and it's there, but the ruh is going through different things. That's why they say in this world, when you do something, your body is affected and your ruh is affected, right? And in the akhirat, in the qabr, only your ruh is affected, your body is not affected. And in Jannat again, the body will be affected and the ruh will be affected, but the body will become abadiyah. The body will become eternal. Allah Ta'ala will make it eternal. Once we come into the Jannah and we pass by, khalidina fiha. Once you pass that, it's like the finish line on a race. Once you pass that line, you go into Jannah, khulud. Now your whole body becomes what? Now you've got the salahiyat and the ability to live forever. There's no more getting old, no more, problems anymore, no more going to the bathroom, no more needing to drink water, anything. Nothing like this. Now you've become, mashallah, like superhero. So that's the answer that we would give, that in the same way in sleep you don't see the person who's affected by a dream, in the same way in the qabr, since the direct effect is coming on the ruh, the body doesn't show it. So that would be the answer for those who are rejecting the adhab of qabr. So Allah Ta'ala mentions, وَأُتْبِعُوا فِي هَذِهِ لَعْنَةً. And in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will be followed by a curse from Allah Ta'ala. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, and not only there in هذه الدنيا, not only in the world, but on the day of judgment also, they will get the lanat of Allah Ta'ala. بِئْسَ الرِّفْتُ الْمَرْفُودُ. Allah Ta'ala says this tawbīkhan, making fun of them. That so terrible is the gift that they're going to get. Rift actually means a gift, hadiyah. So Allah Ta'ala says it rhetorically in mocking them, that so bad, you're going to get such a bad gift on that day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then mentioning and ending off on the, he talks a little bit more about Musa alayhi salam, but ending off on the stories of the Anbiya, Allah Ta'ala says, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْقُرَى نَقُصُّهُ عَلَيْكَ منها قائم وحصيد. So he says, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْقُرَى. This is the story of many cities. نَقُصُّهُ عَلَيْكَ. We are relating these to you, O Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Such stories that are a proof of your nubuwwat and a proof of your prophethood. Because Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam never studied by the Yahud, and he never studied by the Christians, he never studied by the people of the Bible and the Torah. So how would he know about these stories and such precise information and precise points? So Allah Ta'ala says, these are the stories of Qura. Qura means qaryatun, it's a plural word for qaryatun. These are the stories of cities. Naqussuhu alayka, and we are relating this, us, Allah Ta'ala says, we are relating this upon you. Minha qa'imun wa hasid. Some of the cities are standing. Some of the cities are such that the ruins of them, like in Mesopotamia and all these different places, if you go, there are still certain places that you can see the ruins of these towns where there's some buildings, some structures that are still there, where you can see and say, oh, this is the people of Ad, this is what they built. So some are qa'imun. Some of them are still there, you can see them. And some of them, wahasid. For example, the people of Shu'aib, Madian. كَأَن لَمْ يَغْنَوْا فِيهَا. Nothing there. And there are some ruins outside, but a certain part of it, there's nothing even. Like people of Lut, only the Dead Sea is there. There's no signs of buildings, no ruins there, nothing. So hasid means some of them have been now mowed to the land, and they are now hasid. Hasid actually means a plant when it's harvested. This is hasid. So it's actually flat, and there's nothing there at all. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about the dhulm that these people did on themselves. Allah Ta'ala mentions, وَمَا ظَلَمْنَاهُمْ وَلَكِنْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ فَمَا أَغْنَتْ عَنْهُمْ آلِهَتُهُمُ الَّتِي يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مِن شَيْءٍ لَمَّا جَاءَ أَمْرُ رَبِّكَ وَمَا زَادُوهُمْ غَيْرَ تَتْبِيبٍ. Allah Ta'ala mentions, وَمَا ظَلَمْنَاهُمْ وَلَكِنْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. We did not oppress them, they oppressed themselves. We sent messages to them so they can understand this message and turn to us, but they didn't turn to us. So therefore, zulm is now free from Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala didn't oppress them, where He's punishing them without warning them. He warned them. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, وَمَا ظَلَمْنَاهُمْ. We did not oppress them, وَلَكِنْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. They knew what they were doing. They oppressed themselves. فَمَا أَغْنَتْ عَنْهُمْ آلِهَتُهُمُ الَّتِي يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Those idols, those statues that they were calling towards, leaving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the true Lord, فَمَا أَغْنَتْ عَنْهُمْ. They did not avail them. They didn't help them. When the adab of Allah Ta'ala came, those idols also became dust and broken up also. They did not help their worshippers. So the idols didn't help them as well. Min shay'in, at all. They didn't help them at all. They did nothing, the idols, at all to help their people. Lamma jaa amru rabbik, when the adab, when the punishment of your Lord came. Wama zaduhum ghayra tadbib, and those idols did not increase them in anything except destruction. They actually made it even worse. They were punished even worse by virtue of those idols, by the reason of those idols. Allah Ta'ala then mentions that this is the way He punishes, and this is His dustur, this is His sunnah. وَكَذَلِكَ أَخْذُ رَبِّكَ إِذَا أَخَذَ الْقُرَى وَهِيَ ظَالِمَةٌ إِنَّ أَخْذَهُ أَلِيمٌ شَدِيدٌ. Allah Ta'ala says, and in this way Allah Ta'ala punishes when He punishes this is the punishment of your Lord when He punishes a town. Meaning, this is a sign for those who are coming later, that if you involve yourself in the same sins, it's possible that the punishment of Allah Ta'ala can come in the same way. So in this way, Allah Ta'ala's punishment is in this way, إِذَا أَخَذَ الْقُرَى, when He punishes a town. وَهِيَ ظَالِمَةٌ, and that town, the people of it, they are actually oppressors. Here Allah Ta'ala says, وَهِيَ ظَالِمَةٌ, meaning the town is oppressive. But here it doesn't mean the town is oppressive, it means the dwellers of that town, they are oppressive. They are oppressors, meaning they are carrying on and they are not stopping their shirk, they are associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala mentions, إِنَّ أَخْذَهُ أَلِيمٌ شَدِيدٌ. Verily the punishment of Allah Ta'ala, it is extremely painful. When Allah Ta'ala punishes someone, it's extremely painful. So take heed, the people of the future. Do not turn away from Allah Ta'ala. Turn to Him so you will not be punished. Allah Ta'ala then mentions, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِمَنْ خَافَ عَذَابَ الْآخِرَةِ ذَلِكَ يَوْمٌ مَجْمُوعٌ لَهُ النَّاسُ وَذَلِكَ يَوْمٌ مَشْهُودٌ. Allah Ta'ala mentions that إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِمَنْ خَافَ عَذَابَ الْآخِرَةِ. Verily there is a sign, there is a lesson in this for those people who fear the punishment of the hereafter. Adhab al-akhirah. That belief in akhirah which we have, it is the driving force behind us looking at these stories and taking ibrah and taking the lesson from it. If a person doesn't feel the akhirah, he's going to say, forget it, this is nothing, who cares about this? It's a fairy tale, like the people of Mushrikeen Mecca used to say, that this is nothing but asatirul awwaleen. It is fairy tales from the past. It's nothing. Why? No khawf. They didn't fear the akhirah, they didn't even believe in it. They said after you die, finish, done. Mawtatan al-ula, وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمَبْعُوثِينَ. We just have our first death, we're not going to be raised again after that. So if you fear the akhirah, the punishment of the akhirah, then you will take lesson from these stories and you won't be like these people. ذَلِكَ يَوْمٌ مَجْمُوعٌ لَهُ النَّاسِ. And what is the adab al-akhirah? It is a day when all of the people will be gathered together. Everybody. ذَلِكَ يَوْمٌ مَشْهُودٌ. And it is a day of witnessing. When we say mashhood, who is going to be witness? Some of the ulama say, Ahlul Arth will witness Ahlul Samawat. Meaning it is the day where the people of the earth, us, we meet with the people of the skies. Meaning the malaika, the angels, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will make shahadat, we will see them and witness them. Or they say that Yawmum Mashhood, it is that day that the people in the later part of the world and dunya, they will make shahadat and they will witness the people of the first parts. Right? On the day of Qiyamah, we will not stand just the people of the 2012, 10 and 2. It's not like that. You'll turn around and see there's the people of Bani Israel is over there, and there's George Washington, and there's people from 100 years ago, 200, 300 years ago. They'll all be standing together. Everybody. So shahadat will take place. You'll witness, wow, look at things. And of course, we won't be admonishing them and asking them for autographs on that day or anything. No one will be even paying attention to each other. Everyone will be naked. But no one will even be looking at each other because of the horrific state of that day. So horrifying it is, no one will even care, but everyone will be witnessing. The whole khalaiq, all of insan, from the time of Adam all the way to the time of, to the time of now, or to the end of time, will all be there on the Day of Judgment. And you thought Hajj was crowded. وَمَا نُؤَخِّرُهُ إِلَّا لِأَجَلٍ مَعْدُودٍ. Allah Ta'ala mentions that وَمَا نُؤَخِّرُهُ, meaning the day of Qiyamah, the day. We do not delay the day except for a specific time. لِأَجَلٍ مَعْدُودٍ. A specific time that we know about, we are delaying it till then. But once it comes, it will come baghtatan, right away. As it comes in a hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَتَقُومُ السَّاعَةِ. The day of Qiyamah will come, And there will be two people who will be in a kapra store. They will be in a clothing store. And as it's done in Pakistan and India, Bangladesh, the Arab countries, you buy the roll of kapra, And what does the guy do? He puts it out, right? Let me get 3 yards. So he puts the whole thing out, right? And then he has that stick and he does it. So the person will be stretching out that kapra, and the day of Qiyamah will come during then. It's not like a end of a basketball game, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the 3-pointer the guy won. It's not going to be like that Qiyamah. The apple's coming down. Qiyamah's going to come. Now we know. Let's get ready. A'udhu billah, astaghfirullah. All right, bring it. No. It's not going to be like this. Baghtatan. Right away. The Nabi has given 3 examples. One is the guys, you're pulling out the kapra and you go there, you're just waiting for the cup, and boom, finish. What kind of tawbah a person can make at that time? One is a person who's picking up his luqma, Nabi said. He's picking up his food and he's about to put in his mouth, and the qiyam will come, it won't reach his mouth. And another one is, Nabi said, that a person will be fixing his pool behind his house. Hawth. He'll be fixing it and he won't even finish the whole pool. He won't even be able to put water in that pool. And that's how the qiyamah is going to come. So fast. But we don't know the time, and we are not also people who start saying that it's coming in 2012 and this, that. We're also not like this also. One hadith comes in Nabi Islam that if you're planting a plant and qiyamah comes, continue planting. That's the way a Muslim is. There's no reason for us to await the day, right? We have to prepare for it, finish. When it comes, that'll come when it comes. But of course, we all have to get ready for Qiyamatul Sughra, which is our death. That's why Nabi said, the person who passes away, man mata faqad qamat qiyamatuh. When you die, your qiyamah has started already. Now all these things of the qabr, you're going to start experiencing it. It doesn't matter who's winning the World Series or the NBA championship or the football. You're not going to have anything to do with that. Now you've entered into barzakh. You're in that realm already. Allah Ta'ala after this mentions, يَوْمَ يَأْتِ لَا تَكَلَّمُ نَفْسٌ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ فَمِنْهُمْ شَقِيٌّ وَسَعِيدٌ. Allah Ta'ala now mentions the state of this day, that there's 2 groups amongst this full khalaiq. All of the insan, the history of insan is there, but out of all of them there's only going to be what? 2 groups. There's only going to be 2 groups. So Allah Ta'ala says, يَوْمَ يَأْتِ, this day will be such that it will come, and nobody will be able to speak except by the permission of Allah Ta'ala. On that day, the person will not be able to get up and say, what's going on here, this, that, or I want to say something. No. If it's the idhn and the permission of Allah Ta'ala, then he will speak. And no one will even be able to get up and say something stupid, right? Ishkal comes that someone will be able to get up and get permission from Allah Ta'ala, and he will say something dumb. I think this is terrible, and then Allah Ta'ala, no, not even that. The ayat comes, forgot what it mentioned. I forgot the ayat, but Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala mentions that whoever speaks, he will speak a correct thing. No one will get up and be able to speak something wrong. I remember I was in one masjid, so there was some problem going on in that masjid. So after the Jummah, the Imam Sahib said that we're giving some time for the secretary to come. He has a couple of words to say. So they were having some problem with the secretary, everything. So after the Jummah, he got out and he started cursing everybody. He got up and he said that you people do this, that, and that. So no one even knew. Then Imam Sahib was like, okay, forget it, sit down. No, don't say this. So on the day of Qiyamah, it won't be like that. No one will be able to get up and say whatever he wants and trick Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Whoever gets up and speaks only through the idhn of Allah Ta'ala, and he'll only speak that which is truth. فَمِنْهُمْ شَقِيٌّ وَسَعِيدٌ. And from amongst these groups, there will be some who is shaqi, wretched. They are those who are wretched and they are going to the Jahannam. وَسَعِيدٌ. And those who are not wretched, but they are the fortunate, the sa'id, sa'adat. They are fortunate, kamiyab. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ شَقُوا فَفِي النَّارِ لَهُمْ فِيهَا زَفِيرٌ وَشَهِيقٌ. Allah Ta'ala mentions what's going to happen to these 2 groups. In regards to those who were wretched, the evil people, فَفِي النَّارِ, they will be in Jahannam. لَهُمْ فِيهَا زَفِيرٌ وَشَهِيقٌ. And in there will be zafir and there will be shahiq. Zafir means wailing. Ikhrajun nafas. out of pain. They will be wailing, screaming. And shahiq, there will be a sigh. They'll be out of pain. They will be screaming. Some ulama say that zafir and shahiq in the Arabic language, that is actually tashbih with a donkey. Meaning the same way the donkey, when you've heard the donkey, he has two sounds, right? First he starts with a small one, then he starts screaming a lot. So this is the same thing. They will be sighing, and then and they'll be screaming so much. And this is all out of torment and pain. All out of torment and pain. خالدين فيها ما دامت السماوات والأرض ما دامت السماوات والأرض إلا ما شاء ربك إن ربك فعال لما يريد. Allah Ta'ala mentions that خالدين فيها, may Allah Ta'ala protect us, they will be living in there forever. They'll never come out of Jahannam. Those who died on kufr and they are shaqi, they'll never come out of Jahannam. They will be in there forever. This will be their life eternally. ما دامت السماوات والأرض, as long as the skies and the earth remain. إلا ما شاء ربك, and as long as Allah Ta'ala desires. Here we should understand that this statement here, the ulama have mentioned, either has one of two meanings. ما دامت السماوات والأرض could mean, first of all, that the sama and the earth mean not the sama and earth of this world, but samawati wal ard of the next world, which will be eternal. ما دامت السماوات, as long as the skies and the earth of the akhirat are going to be standing, they will be in there. And those skies and that earth are what? Eternal. So they will be in there eternally. And some ulama say that this is just a statement which actually means forever. Because the Arab used to say that this will happen madam al-jabal, as long as this mountain is here. And they never ever, they never ever supposed that that jabal or that mountain will not be there. Meaning it's always going to be like that. It's always going to be like that. Right? We say so till the cows come home, right? Till hell freezes over. These type of things. So there's no type of ihtimal or thought in our mind that hell's actually going to freeze over. This is a statement we are saying what? It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So the same way ma'adamat as-samawat is saying in the Arabic language here in this Quranic ayat, that is actually Allah Ta'ala saying that they will be there forever. There will be no way that they will get out. Inna rabbaka fa'alun lima yurid. Verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the doer of whatever He wants. He can do whatever He wants, and He can keep them in there forever if He wants to. That's why we have to understand this ayat. فَعَالُ لِمَا يُرِيد. We have to know the Lord Allah Ta'ala who we're dealing with. He can do whatever He wants. So therefore that's why Islam means what? We have to, such Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, such a Lord we have that has this power. He can do whatever He wants. Therefore we have to what? Surrender in front of Him. That's the power He has. That's why Islam is called surrendering, because we have to surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the most powerful. He can do whatever He wants. We can be in a very bad situation if we don't watch ourselves with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After this, Allah ta'ala will speak about those people who are in sa'adat. Inshallah, next week we'll carry on with the people of sa'adat, and then after that some last things about Musa alayhi salam, and then about salat, and then ending off the ayat with the ilm and the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then of course after that the Surah Yusuf. May Allah ta'ala give us tawfiq. Wa akhu da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.